welcome to Build a Business SA. My name is Lashar Knezovich. I'm your host today, and today we have the amazing Tabani Moyo in studio with us today. He's the director and founder of UNDA Properties, and we also have Keelan, which is lead of sales. So welcome, guys. I can't wait to hear about your stories today. Tabani, you're just such a wonderful, humble guy, and you've done so well in the past few years. Seriously, like being a startup and I'm sure facing the challenges of COVID that has brought about doing so well today.
Yeah, it's been challenging. Yeah, so UNDA Property Management, we actually tried growing in the midst of COVID, but we had to try and figure out how we're going to push rentals, push sales, and then still keep quality management as well. Not only being from a landlord side, but as I said, just trying to figure out, how best to service tenants. So how we're going to give that service, like say during lockdown, and at the same time trying to train agents as well, trying to build a business as well. Yeah, so that's where UNDA really started. Yeah, during that time.
So do you want to just explain to everybody what UNDA Properties does?
Yeah. So UNDA firstly means it means wave in Latin. So the whole idea was in the beginning, the whole idea, the UNDA's been changing, it's been forming over time. But in the beginning the whole idea was to create a wave of generational wealth through property. Okay. So we have three pillars in the logo. So the first one is transparency, then we've got value creation, tech driven. So on the transparency side, which is to say, transparent in everything that we do as agents, anything that we do during business. So we just want to try and make sure that even anything that we're training or teaching out there, that anyone understands that there's transparency in our whole model. We just want to be a very, very transparent company. Then on the value creation side is moving up. So trying to figure out, instead of just trying to give like a 4 or 5 star service, how do you now move to 10? That's where we're actually trying to figure out, instead of just trying to place tenants, trying to do the creative vetting, what else can we do in real estate in the ecosystem, just to try and figure out what we can do more than the company. And then the tech, the last pillar, is tech driven. Yes. So it's just trying to make sure that, as you saw, technology is it's sped up so fast and you can't keep up, but we're trying to make sure that technology is being implemented in everything that we do. And that's also what's caused a lot of the disruption as well. So trying to keep an agency small, but trying to keep high productivity and trying to keep the processes in between very easy, very simple. That's the things that we've been trying to focus on, and those are 3 pillars mainly. But since then, it's changed now to something very simple: live beyond yourself.
Love
so
it.
So that's the new logo across here. So
awesome. So you've really thought a lot about this and put in a lot of detail and hard work, and that's why you're successful today.
Yeah, I'm hoping. Yeah, so we are. Look, I don't know what's how you measure success for any company. A lot of people say, if you're making losses and stuff, yeah, you're going to make losses in the beginning, but you have to invest into training, into systems, and
definitely.
But at the end of the day, if you're still here, then I guess that's a testament, isn't it? So
very true.
Yeah.
I think it's a struggle for entrepreneurs to build a business within the first 5 years. Yeah. And there's lots of challenges and lots of challenges you'll be tested, that's for sure. So, and in terms of technology, how are you expanding on that? Are you looking at new systems that you're trying to implement?
Yeah, so without obviously trying to give too much away, but we are looking at investing into our own systems. I think it's important, but at the same time, trying to make sure that we're not over-investing to things that, trying to reinvent the wheel.
Yes.
So we're just trying to make sure we're investing into systems that will just assist the agents to perform better, because that's the main thing, the bottom line of UNDA's performance.
Okay.
So the whole concept behind it was to make sure that it's like an agency platform, to make sure the agents can excel, perform to the best of their abilities, at the same time without overexerting them. So trying to figure out like, how can agents boost their sales from still working from home, and still thinking about as well, who's really impacted, because as an agency, let's be honest, like, and I'm just being very straightforward, honest,
Yes.
the agency always will win, because if you're onboarding agents, they're essentially doing a lot of the work, but what is the agency doing for the agents to try and make sure that they're actually earning more, that we're making sure that the workspace is it's more suitable. It needs to be more suitable for them, because they're the ones who are actually supporting the company, and that's the truth. Otherwise, the company just doesn't work. So that's why we're trying to invest into the systems to try and make sure things are easier for them. And as I said, just more enjoyable. But you need to keep a balance, because you're trying to make things simpler for them.
Definitely.
But now you need to say, okay, fine, how do we get more productivity at the same time? And that's where we're trying to find that balance, so implement those systems so it takes a lot of the work off the table, but at the same time, you're looking for output. So you're always having to think now at the same time that I think in school they always told you input plus process equals output.
Definitely, yeah.
So always trying to focus.
Always go back to the roots.
Simple. So if you're focusing on the inputs, and then if we can, manage the process better, and the output. But at the same time, there's constantly a mess somewhere in between. As long as you're getting the outcomes that you're looking for, But that's what we're trying to make sure that we're constantly trying to stretch that, test it, and trying to see, okay, fine, where the weak points here, and then
expand on that.
On that, So strengthen and expand constantly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what is your portfolio sitting on now? How many properties do you manage and take care of?
So on my personal portfolio, I'm just sitting a little over 50 units because at times I'm having to manage the portfolio. So trying to manage the key accounts there, and then I'm still trying to onboard agents so that we can assist on building, expanding the portfolio at the same time. So it's not just only my portfolio of just one, but then it's also all the agents collectively that are within UNDA. So right now, I think in total we should be sitting on 60 on management.
Okay.
So just managing, but then in the pipeline as well, got quite a few developments that we're trying to just work relationships with, and then on that, it becomes beautiful because they just give you the whole portfolio of investors.
Yes. So once they start trusting you, I suppose it starts to expand.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's just been that. So we've just been building that relationship from Pretoria, going through to Midrand, and then a big portion of Sandton, mainly in Fourways, because that's where the majority of the portfolio is, and then going back out to Modderfontein and Benoni. So quite expanded out in Gauteng, and then we're trying to look across into Cape Town. That's the next point. Yeah.
Awesome.
So. Yeah,
I'm sure flying to Cape Town will be wonderful.
it will be wonderful trying to catch views and all that. But at the end of the day, I think it's as well because a lot of the relationships that we've been building with the tenants and so forth, they've been moving across to Cape Town. We're seeing a lot of investment happening there.
Interesting. Okay.
At the same time, in real estate, you see that we're getting impacted by Eskom. And, Cape Town's trying to make sure they're doing something about it. Johannesburg, they are doing, but it's
slower pace. Perhaps.
Yeah, slower pace, and so it's not coming from a unified place. So we're seeing a lot of the traffic moving across the Cape Town, and that's where we're trying to now starting to focus. But it's a different
the business is.
It's a different market, because our market is simply property management. We don't actually focus on sales. Sales is it's icing to us.
Okay.
It's icing on the cake for us. The main batter of the cake is property management. So it's actually finding landlords, building that relationship, also building a relationship with tenants to stay within our pool. So as long as we care on having quite a big stock of portfolio, stock of units, they can always then shift in between. But at the same time, if landlords also want to move overseas, they're just leaving it with us to manage. And again, we're able to just keep that cycle going quite smoothly. Yeah.
So you do property management and then you do brokering as well.
Yeah.
And then are those the two tiers that you do? Is
Yeah.
there anything else that I've perhaps left out?
No, in simple, straightforward, we just focus on property management.
Okay.
Property management being that we do maintenance and repairs for the property.
All right.
If we do marketing for the property as well, and if needed, if the property needs to go up for sale as well, we have that as well. So we've got that license. That's also what's been the big milestone for the company to be registered with the PPRA. So we've got that
Okay.
registration. We're licensed. So that's quite a big achievement on our side.
Yes.
But as much as you get a license, it's like what are you going to do now? You've got the license, so we're trying to figure out, say, fine, how can we build outside of just doing rentals and sales? We need to actually start focusing on getting into the commercial space. At the same time, even reinvesting into our own assets, into our own properties. So we need to start actually looking at maybe buying two developments, land, trying to figure out, can we build residential units? Can we build facilities? And create, small micro businesses within those. So that's where we're trying to actually focus now.
Okay.
Student accommodation as well. And at some point looking into social housing as well.
Okay, awesome. So quite a few things you want to expand into.
Yeah, so
it's just growing and growing.
Look,
It's incredible.
I think at the end of the day, and I mean that's maybe something that Kaylin can expand on. But
Definitely.
just being an agent, when you're going into the market, you kind of taught to think one way.
Definitely.
Just commissions. Let me get my sales. I don't care whatsoever. But that's why I've said, okay, fine. If you're coming into UNDA, how do you think? How do you almost position yourself almost like as a relationship manager, almost like that banking service to say, I understand your pain points. Let me try and give you the proper fit. So we don't want to try and sell properties to individuals if it doesn't fit the income bracket. It doesn't make sense because it's going to be like financial pressure. At the same time, if you don't have life cover and all those basic things, we want to try and make sure that we're also breaking that generational debt cycle that's being constantly given over, because at the end of the day, life cover is important. It's something small that that people need to pay as a small premium, but it's actually got these impacts onto generations. So that's the same thing. The agents need to be able to provide knowledge to the customer coming through. Also at the same time train the landlord to understand this is how you need to manage your property. This is important. You got to manage your rent. We got to pick up.
Yes, it goes beyond the sale that's happening,
and you got to increase the rental. Important, because we're all part of one. Like I said, it's an ecosystem.
Yes, 100%.
And as I said, it comes down to the agents. So if the agent is the one who's able to put someone into a better position, then let's make sure that it's being done at a 10-star at UNDA. That's what we're trying to make sure. So we do that basic
customer satisfaction, because ultimately they are going to, spread word of mouth, and then you're going to get more customers, which is all great for you. More tenants, that's what we want.
more tenants, more landlords, but more importantly, can we convert tenants into landlords? That is the next thing. It's not only just saying, okay, fine, as a tenant, we want you to constantly be paying rent. It doesn't make any financial sense. If you're a tenant and you own properties, different ball game. So if you're a landlord or you're a tenant, great.
Yeah.
But if we can then help and assist you in that, put you in a better position so that by the time you're moving out, I mean, when you think about it, right? I mean, let's just let me just backtrack quickly. So there can only be one of two positions, really. You either own or rent.
100%. Yes.
So if you're coming from a place of owning, then it's depending on like family circumstances, okay? And we know that there's different circumstances and all that, so I don't want to like jump too deep into that. But at the end of the day, when you're coming out of home, and we know that everyone has a timeline. You're born, going through school.
Yes.
You're learning certain things, okay? So we can't rush things for a 2-year-old at expecting like at a later stage, like, so, we need to plan and try and figure out, okay, fine. So if we now know that a lot of students are like between 18 and 21, 24 are going to be moving out of university to the next point, we know then fine, they're going to be renting for that period.
Yes.
We know that as a given, right? And the guys who are renting, we need to figure out, is it optional for them to be renting, or can they still be staying at home?
Okay.
And rather put that rental towards capital, towards buying their first home.
Okay.
And having someone else that's staying in there renting that property again.
For sure.
But they've got an asset that's being taken care of through rent. So the bond, levy, shares and taxes being covered through the rent.
Mm-hmm.
And it's someone who else can service it because, they're in that climate. They're only needing to rent for a year. They're going to be looking to buy next year or something like that. But again, that's how that cycle needs to work. We need to try and figure out how can we assist more tenants that are in the position to actually own properties, but they're kind of scared too because they don't know.
Yes, so almost increasing the knowledge and of students, and then perhaps converting them later on as well as they go throughout life.
There's students. There's students, and then even remember after being a student, there's that time where you're getting ready to now propose and stuff. So your whole life changes. Now there's like kids and you're like, oh no, now you got to think about. So there's a whole lot of things that, again, you don't really get taught to think about at school. And you get to the real life and, again, different timelines and say, okay, what is important when? Because it is most certainly important to own your own home.
Yes.
By the time, you're settling down married, you don't want to be actually having that financial burden of having to worry about paying off the bond and all these other things. You just want the simple things like the maintenance, which is levies, rates and taxes. If it's in a complex, it will be constantly maintained, their security. So that's why you're paying those levies.
Okay.
City of council to manage whatever they're doing, rates and taxes. Cool. So
would you then impart that knowledge on students that then come and rent that student accommodation from you?
There are those students as well. But let's not just confine it to just, students that are just actually there are actual,
I suppose you could also go for the parents.
They are students. Those are guys actually students. So that's
what are they doing at the end of the day?
And
expanding on that.
Yeah. So you have also, like I said, you have a lot of single mothers who've sitting on quite a bit of capital. They're trying to figure out, how can I now create some sort of generational wealth for my child going forward?
Yes.
At the same time, so these are things that are
and I
tough.
love that forward thinking.
Yeah. So there's a lot of it's quite complex, and you're trying to always, you're trying to figure out how do you explain to someone on the phone, and break all of this down, and you're trying to figure out where they are mentally to understand all of this, and at the same time, someone who's 30 versus someone who's 21. Their life circumstances are completely different.
Yes.
And someone who's 30, if you married and single, again, completely different. So that's why I said these are things that, I go quite in depth with the agents to understand so that they understand who they're kind of dealing with.
So almost like a psychology, which I'm sure, Keelan, maybe you want to expand on. Thanks for being here. So what do you do day to day? What does a day in the life of Keelan look like?
Okay, so
so it's Kaylin.
Oh, sorry, Kaylin. Thank you.
Got you.
Okay, so what I do is I'm basically like the sales and rental team leader, on board agents, and basically just try to get them to their headspace of thinking about growth. Because it's like Tabani said, when you enter real estate, most companies traditionally they just want you to. Most agents just think that I'm gonna sell a house, big commission coming in, not gonna work for 2-3 months, gonna sell a house, gonna do a rental in between. So we want to get agents out of that mindset, right? So that's why I joined real estate, and that's why I partnered with Tabani, because we have this vision. So what I do is I basically look for talent in other agencies or other agents, and try and explain to like agents that you need an exit strategy. Because I'm sure you've seen when you drive around, most real estate agents that you see on like billboards and dustbins.
Yes, yeah, you see them everywhere, right?
And they all like
they're old, or they're like very pretty.
Exactly. You don't want to be doing the grind every day until you're like 65.
Yes.
So we want them to start young and have an exit strategy, like do a sale, create a lifelong partnership with the buyer, and with the buyer's tenant, just like, just create that cycle of wealth, and basically just have an exit strategy. So what I do is I do research on property and property
Okay.
values, the industry, and I
Yes.
basically train some agents to help portray that to our clientele. So in a
Okay.
day, I basically do calls, lots of research, and just facilitate a lot of training. So yeah,
Okay.
that's
And
in a
how are you
nutshell.
guys dealing with the prime rates at the moment? How are you getting people, over with that? Do you find it quite a challenge or?
I mean, it really just depends on the end of the market you're looking at. With the
Okay.
prime rate now being 11.75%, there's a lot of people who bought houses during COVID at 7% and just can't
Yes, they
afford
were
them anymore.
they were
So in
smart at the time, and then I guess things
exa-
kind of caught up.
exactly. So a lot of them are selling at the moment, and
Okay.
they just selling so that they not in debt anymore. So they selling at like really low prices, and then we kind of like appeal to them and market to people who have the means to actually buy these properties cheaper and convert them into rental properties, which just feeds into our model, more landlords, more tenants, and just try to keep that cycle going. So it's not really easy to find the buyers at this rate.
Yeah. Do you find they maybe come from more word of mouth, or how do you go about kind of finding them or poaching them?
Yeah, we definitely go via word of mouth. So,
Okay.
like I said, in there, I make many calls, and most of those
Yes.
calls are to people I've previously done business with.
So
So, and they
relationships are important.
exactly, and they always know somebody who's looking for something to do with their money.
Okay.
So that's who we poach.
Okay. And so, Bonnie, what inspired you to start Under Properties? What got you going?
Um, I think it was just my time spent in the UK. It was very interesting. So the reason how I ended up there was I finished at the University of Victoria, did sports science, and I told my folks, look, I don't want to just be stuck as a sports science was, in South Africa, as soon as you get sports science, they like, biokineticist, or are you a personal trainer? And then personal training, like, either like certain clubs. I was like, nah, I don't want to be stuck there. I
Okay.
think my brain is a little bit more, outside of just, being able to coach. I think I can get, to management level. So what we decided was, okay, fine, let's try and shoot overseas and just see if I can maybe do my honors and masters that side.
So,
So
what did you study in?
so it was at Stirling University. It was a pre-masters, so it was an honors course packed into 6 months. But they call it a pre-masters course, so that you're like ready to start the master's
Sounds
course.
intense.
Yeah.
It sounds like social life, just putting your head down.
It was crazy. Yeah. So the start, I mean, yeah. So it was a short time because I was like, kind of graduating from Tux at the time, but then I didn't get to be at my graduation because the course was starting at the same time my graduation. So
Oh.
so it started at Stirling University. So it was a pre-masters. So it was just pretty much open-ended, like, business focused to, go into the course that I wanted to. So passed through there, did like a mini thesis as well. So they prepare you as well how to do research, data analytics, and really, yeah, really prepare you just, I guess, for like, master's level coursework. So it's just a bit more easier and easily integrated. And it works out for international students as well that are coming in. So you kind of spending 6 months at the university already
Okay.
before, just being like kind of like dumped there and like, yeah, but wasn't
So
dumped.
you
Yeah.
spent your time there, and then you decided you're going to come back to South Africa and open Under Properties.
Well, no, it was, I spent, so it was a year and a half there. After that, went to Glasgow University to do international financial analysis. So it was just to move from thinking just business and moving my mind across to now finance. So the CFA route. So it was to help me just understand, do financial reporting, looking at investments, looking
Okay.
at
Essential skills.
yeah, and then
for what
looking
you
at
do.
like mergers and acquisitions, like things on, so I can understand businesses a whole lot more better. So I can become like a business analyst, and just you're combining the two. You understand things from a business element, because it's human. It's a lot of it's at the end of the day,
You
it's
use
like
it every day.
yeah, it's your human
Definitely.
capital, but I mean, it's the employees. You need to understand what the employees are feeling.
Yes, I
Because
love that
they,
about you. You always look at where to place your employees where they grow.
and that's it. So
It's
I think, and
important.
then understood that. But then so the main thing when I was spending my time there was that just looking at how a lot of students were making income. So they had like
Okay.
different jobs. They were either like doing Uber. They were so either Uber drivers. They were doing food drop offs, like But I think the system was like called Deliveroo. So it's almost similar to doing like Uber Eats, but like they were actually like on bicycles. They were like paddling and like this big thing. So I was like, okay, but I just understood. Okay, fine. So to someone pretty much, and then lockdown obviously happened.
Mm.
So I'm like, okay, hectic. So how are people having to make money whilst still being at home? And especially now because I've always been in property since like 2015. I'm investing in properties and all that. I started to say, okay, fine. How do I help the agents now, and how do I implement it into real estate, and how to figure out and okay, fine, how can the agents make better income from home at the same time coach them a bit more better at this, so they're getting the skills and knowledge that even if they left out of UNDA like property management, they have to only leave to a better opportunity, or at least imparted more skills, because we have again, they've helped build a company, so let's make sure
Yes.
we've invested quite a lot of knowledge and time into the agents to make sure they're going out to a better opportunity, or even better, they stay and keep their real estate license, but at the same time move across maybe into financial advisory services, because you're selling home loans, so you're already in
Okay.
the insurance side anyway. You're having to
Yes.
speak to banks, so
Okay.
so that's where the next thing we're trying to focus on over the next 3 years. So we've got our licenses set for the PPRA, which is only for 3 years,
Mm-hmm.
because you have to renew it every 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
So let's try and make sure we're getting the best out of it for the next 3 years. But we also want to start focusing on then getting our financial advisory license at
Okay.
some point. So that we're just imparting that, because again, we're already selling a lot of like doing home loans and do those credit
Yes.
a lot of credit vetting anyway, and having to advise people on what you have to do with property. So for
Okay.
the guys in who are going to still be building a relationship, you might as well then get a financial license, become a financial advisor, start selling home
Mm.
loans and banking products as well. But that's stuff that's in the long run.
Okay.
So if we get it right,
Okay.
then yeah, it'll be quite exciting.
Yes, definitely. So, how many employees do you have now? How many have you expanded on this
So currently right now
opening
we're
business?
just under with small team of 5. Yeah, the small team of 5. So there's 5 agents, and we've
Okay.
got 2 admin. And then we're starting to now onboard for the Cape Town branch. So we're just hoping to,
That's
I think,
incredible.
build
That's
another.
that's some really good growth.
Yeah.
It just
So
shows you from following your passion, you're able to help so many others.
well, look, I mean, it's by theory, because now we've got you can onboard as many agents as you want, but you don't want to do that. so,
Yes,
so
yes,
yeah,
true.
yeah. So the whole idea is to try and figure out like it's quality at the same time. So it's now trying to say,
Definitely.
okay, fine. Any agent that's going to come into UNDA now, it's very simple to say, look, you can come here, but
Mm.
why not other places? And I mean, that's something that's we've been trying to pick up. Well, actually, in the interview process, to say, look, why UNDA versus going to another agency?
True. So, what differentiates you? Perhaps you can
So
elaborate on
at
that.
UNDA, we have a vision
Okay.
that goes beyond just real estate.
Yes.
Like we just want you to grow as much as you can, and not only within the industries that UNDA operates,
Mm-hmm.
but as a person. So like let's say if you're an agent and you're really interested in just maybe you're a social media influencer, your digital marketing, anything like that. We try to pour into that as well, so that you not only grow as an agent but as a person, so that you have that option to just be happy with yourself every day, and not just come
to
in
work and be passionate.
and just be behind the desk and call. No, we want you to be as happy as you can be, to be as productive as you can, so that you want to come and work, knowing that you don't really have to, because we also try to try to empower your hobbies and your passions.
Okay. And I mean, Tabani, this is the first time, if I'm correct in saying that theoretically you're a boss now.
Yeah,
So
it's weird. It's
I
very
was
weird.
gonna say,
Yeah.
as you grow, you get employees, and I mean, have you had any struggles with that, or how's it been? How do you differentiate between friendship line and almost a business line, a sense?
Yeah, that's always been the tough part, especially in the beginning. Because when you're starting, I mean, a startup, you're essentially relying on a lot of family friends when you're starting up. That's the truth. That's the easiest way.
And the first person usually does everything, so that you employ, so you get really close to that person.
Yeah. And at the same, so it's that, but trying to do it on scale is a tougher part, because now it's just like, okay, you're trying to let people in, so that there's some sort of you have to be open.
Yeah.
Like just have to be open, so that there's full trust and understanding, like what they are coming into, because when people think a startup, I don't know, there's some sort of level that they think they're walking into some sort of Facebook thing, and I'm like, no, dude.
We're just here trying to make it.
Yeah, like when I say, but when I say when I say we're trying to make it, it's just like for the first 3-4 months,
it's difficult.
No, it's not. It's not difficult. You start looking back and you're like, where's the company profile? Where's the presentation? Like basic stuff that's important, because you're constantly focusing on trying to make sure money is coming in. So you're doing you're running around like headless chickens, because like I said, that's how startups, we're trying to make sure money's coming in before we can focus on trying to look pretty and all that stuff. So over the years, that's what's also been like tough, trying to build that relationship with the agents, and really trying to understand, okay, at the same time, where are your strengths? Because you're employing guys, but then you start figuring out, hey, somewhere on their CV they put a cheat code here. So they're ready here. You're like, okay, look, let's
call the Richard Branson, just say you can do it.
But at the end of the day, we also know that that's also what happens. So
they're willing to do it, they're willing to learn, and at the same time, I mean, you're an incredible boss, because you want to put them where they're going to grow. So ultimately, if they come in as one thing, they might be put in a different department, but then they flourish, which grows your business.
I think the one thing I'm glad, which is a bad but good thing, I'm glad that we don't have structure. We do have structure to say, look, our meetings are set. And by the way, we only have like a 1 hour set meeting every day in the morning. You won't be able to catch us between 8 and 9. That's it. Online meeting. That's it.
Okay.
Then the agents pretty much run their full day, but then essentially leaves every day to kind of allow for any change to happen.
Yes,
so
because communication's important. Has there been any time that you failed at anything?
I'll straight up.
Lessons that you've learned along the way.
I think because we've been running for 3 years, but they've been guys who've come in, guys who've also gone out there. So there's just certain things, and the reason why I bring up that company profile, certain things like just having an onboarding document, so that people understand this is how things are done. Otherwise, now you're bringing guys on and you're expecting them to be able to know what needs to be done.
Yes.
But you don't have that, that structure out there. You don't have that on a.
So that all falls on you.
It all falls on me, because again, when we started, I should have had that, and said, I should have had that 4 months ago before even getting the guys in. But you start learning that over time, so, and also at the same time, you don't want to keep repeating yourself.
100%.
So this right there.
Yes, that is very true.
So that's why I said it's when I say it's I'm good that I've learned structure, that admin Like I've got admin structure. I know that, okay, fine, invoices, this is my busiest time of the month. I know that like 25th to the 7th, don't try and get hold of me. Okay. It's the busiest time because invoices have to be sent out before. So we'll be doing invoice preparation from like 20th to the 25th, receiving all of that, making sure it's all out, and then trying to make sure that we're chasing up with those payments. But I mean, once you send out the invoices, you have to now try and figure out how you're going to get more stock, because if those placements are done, the next month, yay, where's the stock?
Yeah. Yes, definitely.
And then you're not going to have anything to market. So it's always a constant cycle. So that's why I say, like, you know, we're doing a lot of viewings, we're doing a lot of move-ins, move-outs. I know that 20th to 7th, it's a nightmare.
Yes.
But then after that, between like, call it the 10th up to the 20th, I can pretty much go on holiday because it's quite quiet. No one's moving.
Okay.
People aren't getting paid. People are still like waiting for the 25th to get there. So yeah, I know it's it's perfect. Yeah. But that's why I said, you know, so there's that structure that we've created mainly on paper, but everything then, it's like I said, it's going according to the day. There's nothing else you can do. You know,
so would you say that you're a very structured person, more like A-type personality, or would you say more B-type, that you're carefree? I'm
very carefree. I don't lie to you. But A-type, that I kind of brought up in that household. So like my old man has never missed. He's never missed his 7 o'clock meeting since I've ever known him. So yeah, every day I know. Between 7 o'clock to 7:30.
So
I can't
what he
catch
says
him.
He's gonna do, and
it's
kind of fallen onto you the same.
It's one of those things, just to say, like, just stick to it. Yeah. So if you're gonna say one thing, whatever, it doesn't matter if I say that, like, you know, just put it on paper. Because then if I put it on paper but I can't do it, then what's the point?
True. So and I think I mean, I don't know if you want to share with everybody, but Tabani used to be in bodybuilding, and I think that definitely, that's incredible to have done. And, that's hard work and determination and seeing a goal and going after it, which I think has built who you are today, in a sense, writing down what you want to do, seeing the goal, and going after it, because that's some discipline.
Yeah. The bodybuilding side, it is a lot of discipline, because again, you have to run your own timetable, your own structure. You've got to tell yourself, okay, fine, are you going to work out once today, or are you going to work out twice today?
Yes.
And are you going to make sure you're weighing your food down to the gram, or you're going to put it additional more because you're like starving, versus that. So,
yeah.
And a lot of people don't understand that, we go through so many different phases of change. Because our emotions are like, I promise you can try and speak to any guy that's competing, that's getting ready to go on stage. Speak to him 2 weeks before. You'll see.
Is it the worst time to speak to them?
Worst time, because now they're like dehydrated, they're dropping water, they're cutting out carbs, you're hearing that they're eating hake, they're not putting any
any sauce, it's very dry.
They're eating boiled broccoli.
It's very chewy.
Yeah. And I've gone through that.
Yes.
So I know.
But that's made you who you are today.
I know. But then I also know that I know that the irritating part is we'll train for a whole year for a good 15 minutes on stage just to get a medal. 15 minutes, that's your only time. Yeah. You stuff up in any of those 15 minutes.
Yeah.
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 So
you've got to come in prepared.
That's why I'm saying, So anything, even if they tell you that your music is not there, you've got to figure out now your routine's got to change on the spot. But you have to be prepared and understand that that's your only 15 minutes to perform. You're only going to get awarded. If you don't make it through the first round, tough luck. Go home, go eat your ice cream, and then go start again, because you're not making it to the final round of the evening. That's how it is. It's tough. It's tough work. And some guys, unfortunately, don't even make it on stage because they couldn't keep the discipline up to the last minute, And that's like saying,
up to the last calorie.
That's even saying, like, I'm not going to drink more than 500 ml of water. So if I know that, hey, this is my cup, this is the only water I'm drinking for the whole day, because that's what I have to do. If I go over that, my body's going to change. If I go into the scale the next day, I'm now overweight. Now I have to start running around. And I'm already dehydrated, and I'm
yes.
and the tan is coming off, and
Would you say then
Yeah.
that do you still go to the gym regularly? Is mental health something that you
Mental health,
practice
yeah. So
regularly?
mental health I practice, but physical health, I mean, I've been,
Goes hand in hand.
yeah, it goes
almost,
hand in hand. Yeah. So I'm not as like crazy about going to gym as much. I'm more
Okay.
crazy about doing physical activities like playing five-a-side football, playing like golf. Trying to
So
do
things you enjoy.
things that I enjoy, where I can also, like, I'm allowed to have a burger in the middle of the game. I'm
Yes.
not like not having to carry my lunchbox. I was, and to be honest, and yeah, like
You do,
a
yes.
sad part of my life was I was going out to these clubs. The truth, I was out there partying. I was that guy.
Wow.
But I was carrying my lunchbox, and I'd check there, like I think Stimming is on stage, but I have to look at the clock there, and it's like 12 o'clock. And I'm like, damn, guys, I'm going to be back. Time I'm running to the toilet, but I've run to the car to go now chow my meal, because I know that,
You
hey,
have to eat.
I have to eat here, because I'm out, versus I now know I'm not going to be able to train, like, first thing in the morning on Sunday, because I'm out here partying. So that's how disciplined, you kind of have to
be, but that's why I say it's almost carried on in a sense for you, but just in a different way. I mean, in your business
Yes.
and getting things done. And I think that's one of the crucial things about being an entrepreneur is to be disciplined. Otherwise, we're not going to get anything done or be profitable. That's for sure.
I think then just tying back to what you're saying about them, so that was the physical, but the mental health was just making sure now that I'm now trying to make sure everything is encompassed in my life.
Okay.
So when it's a work-life balance, meaning that work and family is like, say, this is two elements within my life. They can't be
Yeah.
bigger than my life. So if I draw one big circle, that's my life. I've got my family, I've got my work, and everything has to fit in that. My work cannot be bigger than my life. It's that simple. But
Okay.
at the same time, I'm one person, and to start a family, you have to find someone, and that
That's why
family
you
starts to
have
grow.
incredible people around you.
And so that family and business, at the same time, then almost you've got your personal family, you've got your business, but then you've also got a family business, which is, you're building that relationship within your team, so
Yeah.
that's a separate relationship as well. So I've got a relationship that I have to look after to make sure, okay, fine, all these guys performing, to make sure that they have enough food to put on their table at home, and to make sure that they're still happy and they're still mentally happy. And after that, I'm going to still go home and then still be a husband and a dad. And then after that, try and make sure, hey, bro, are you okay?
Yes.
So that's why I say, yeah, it's not, I don't value like fitness or anything. I've done that. I've got the awards. So I know that I'm healthy. I watch my vitamins. I watch what I eat and all that stuff. So it's all good.
Okay.
But I'm really trying to just focus on making sure that I'm looking after my mental health, looking after myself, and then, as I said, more importantly, trying to make sure that I'm really trying to make sure that I'm giving back into society where I can. But again, it all starts at home. It starts with the people
Definitely.
around you, and if you can't make that positive impact, then
If they're happy, then
yeah,
yes, essentially you'll be happy.
Yeah.
People show in their work for
yes,
sure.
yeah.
Would you say that there are any specific advice? Is any specific advice that you can give to new startups? That also want to go into the property direction or do what you're doing.
I think it's I'll maybe give like my own side. I'll maybe also then like they can also just give his parts as well, because it's also important. I think for agents or guys who are coming in, don't be in a rush to build too quickly. That's important. Like, that's the most important thing. Because you can't build by yourself. You can't hold a structure by yourself, whatever. Someone's going to need to help you hold the pole up, and then someone's going to need, so even whatever you do, you're going to need people wherever you're going. That's just, so yeah, you can't be in a rush to build by yourself.
I think people minimize the costs too much and then perhaps don't want to employ someone, and then they feel like they're just overburdened. But it's right, you need to join hands. You need to.
The sad part
grow.
is, I mean, the ugly truth in that part is actually saying, don't worry about the profits. Don't worry about the profits. If you're doing and you're looking after the company, the profits will come. You can't be as a shareholder now trying to think, you want everything here, like down to it. It doesn't make any logical sense. And why and I that's why I also find a lot of unhappy employees and organizations. and a lot of quiet hiring. You know, you've been given a new role, you've been promoted up, but same pay, and they're just increasing your workload. No, because again, now the company is now trying to do cost cutting and stuff, and I'm saying, then yeah, like no, like that's what I'm saying. So I think in that, then don't, yeah. So there's that saying, look, don't be rushed to build. Go do things transparently and with people. Build the right relationships. That's the other important thing. And just understand, admin is number one.
I think people underestimate that.
Yeah, I
sure.
think like it's all glitz and glam, like saying you own your own company, you're doing this, you're doing that. If the admin is bad, the company is just going to also go like haywire. Like if you think that invoices have been sent out because, again, you know, there's no instructions or system that is there, then the guys aren't going to ever pay. Money's not coming in. Now you're going to be starting to scramble. The time that you're supposed to be using here is now used to be doing things that should have already been done.
Yeah.
And now you're just repeating processes. And yeah, that's why I said those things in summary. Those are the most important things that I would say if anyone wants to come into real estate, to start up your own company. Because you'll build anyway to becoming your own principal. You can hire your own guys, whatever. But to really get it right, to really understanding what being an owner is, and then being a principal, to being able to train people, and at the same time being a third party to say, how do you grow the company? Because the company can't stay where it is for the rest of its life.
Yes.
There'll always be someone that can copy paste, and then you're just going to be another number in the pool.
So how do you stand out?
So how do you stand out? And that's why I've been pressing to say, can the agents in the next 3 years now convert themselves to becoming financial advisors? And that is what I'm saying is the next stage. Now you're now a real estate agent and you're a financial advisor. You're earning commissions on two sides. Oh, lo. But yeah.
I'd say the key when you start in a company, any startup company, is know why you're doing it first. I mean, everybody starts a company to have money, to be wealthy. We get that. It's fine. No company exists to not make money.
Yes.
But if you're not gonna like positively influence your community, your society, anything that you care about, you won't survive, because nobody will care until they know how much you care. So if you know, like, I'm doing this because of X, Y, and Z, and you communicate that, it won't be difficult for you to like get clients, to gain their trust, and to stay in business and have a full life. Whereas if you're just doing it because like, start a company, I want some money, then you'll just be one of those companies, but it won't survive. You need to have a bigger purpose, bigger than profit.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's profound. And in terms of studying, what have you studied in order to be where you are today?
So I didn't actually study. I always knew that I wanted to get into property. Yeah. And once I found out that the barriers to entry in property doesn't require anything, and I was like, I hate school, so let's do that.
So I'm there. Sign me up.
Yeah, and then also I saw a lot of like I said, I saw a lot of people in the real estate industry like being very old. So I thought, why do they start so late? And when I actually started doing some research on that, that's when I found, okay, this is what I want to do, and this is why I want to do it.
Okay, so what would be your motivational message then to people that are thinking of going into what you're doing, because yes, you didn't know what you wanted to do. Yes, you knew that you were into property, but you're still trying to find your way. Yeah, what message would you give to them?
So know where you want to make an impact.
Okay.
And know like how big you want that impact to be. There's nothing more impactful and longer standing than land.
That is true. Very true.
Like they say diamonds are forever. No, land is forever.
So rather let your husband buy you land instead of diamonds.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was actually I was actually, funny enough, anyone can steal it now, it's fine. we're thinking about something like crazy, like, you know, for like, you know, say, okay, fine. During Valentine's was stressing. Like, I was trying to speak to the team, like, guys, what are we going to post for Valentine's Day, whatever. And then like we're now throwing around ideas. And then at some point in time, I was like, you know, one of the guys was saying, okay, fine, why don't they do a proposal? Like, one of the guys do a proposal to their partner, and in the box must be keys. Like, not a ring, like, you know, you bought it. And I'm like, geez, bro, you're gonna put a lot of pressure on
Yeah, diamond sales going down, property sales going up.
Yeah, so some of the things, yeah, because I mean, the crazy part is anyway, they're gonna kind of have to go hand in hand anyway. You can spend as much as you want on the diamond, but hey, if you guys aren't happy in the space that you're gonna be living in for the rest of your life, yeah,
it's a more sensible decision to make in this day and age, I think.
There's a lot there. Yeah.
So ladies, don't be going after those diamonds, rather go after the houses.
Exactly.
Oh goodness, but awesome, guys. I don't know if there's anything that you guys want to share, or
the Instagram,
yes,
so we've got Instagram, Facebook.
Please share where they can get your details.
So
maybe you might get some more new employees, guys.
Yeah, so right now it's www.UNDA Property Management, so that's UNDA.
Okay.
Property.co.za. So that's for the website. So that's where all the listings are and stuff. So our front end page is there, and that's where we do all our listings. And then we're so the Instagram page is
It's UNDA Property Management.
Yeah, still I think it's also UNDA Property Management as well. So yeah, but there's a link there on the website, and then there's a Facebook, and then we're going to be putting up our LinkedIn page for the professional website, because we have to be, you know, over corporate-y for the guys that are there. But yeah, just want to make sure we have a proper clean image for a lot of the guys who we're going to be employing soon. Yeah, and then we're realistically going to be opening up hiring at the end of August. Yeah, that's when we're really looking. But we first want to first target Cape Town. So we're actually looking.
If there's any Cape Town agents.
Yeah, so actually we're looking for a team to build a team of 4 there. So 2 that will be specializing in rentals, 2 that will be specializing in sales, and then we're also pretty much going to be looking at someone to be growing up into a branch manager over that period. Yeah, but we, again, you know, trying to keep that balance, you know, like you're trying to build Joburg, you know, trying to have the same feel and saying, okay, fine, it's going to be the same in Cape Town. It's going to be a trial and run. And we don't know if all those guys will be able to work together again, but it's, again, yeah.
Okay,
that's
I
where we
suppose
are.
there's different cultures in the different cities, but I mean, there is, at the end of the day, one company culture. And, you know, you really do care about your employees, which is incredible to see and witness. Because
they're number one anyway.
Yes, so I think they'll feel right at home. I don't think you need to worry about whether they get along or not. I think you're a great boss. You have a great team. And, I can't wait to see you guys just grow, and you're going to do fantastically well in the future for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, but thank you so much, guys. Thanks for being on the show today, and I wish you all the success. Awesome. Thanks.
All right. Thanks for having us.